sharing a bit about mantras. Now, the mantras or any practice is suggested as per the yuga. Yuga is the era in which you are born. Now we are right now in Kali Yuga, as per most mystics. Maybe some people they say we are in Dwapar Yuga, but let's forget them for the moment. So, in the Kali Yuga, what is suggested for mantras is doing Nama Japa. And second is Shabar Mantras. Now, the thing with Vedic Sanskrit mantras is that you need to have an entire schooling to do the mantras, because you have to say the mantras in a certain tone, in a certain way, in the Sanskrit language, and you have to do it lakhs of times. And in this era, most of the average people don't have this kind of time unless they are Vedic priests or something like that. Now, upon doing it for a certain lakh number of times, it will have the effect of siddhi. It will be charged, And then there are tantric mantras also. Tantric mantras have kilana. Kilana means a lock. Now, this is beautifully illustrated by the stories which the Naths tell about Lord Shiva and Gauri, his wife. And they were talking, and Lord Shiva had decided that he will lock the mantras, the Vedic mantras and the Tantric mantras during the Kali Yuga, because otherwise the dark forces of Kali Yuga will misuse it. So there was a locking system put in place, and Gauri, his wife, with all her, compassion, she asked him, what about people who really want to do sadhana? And then he gave her the knowledge of Shabar Mantras. This is the story. It will have a lot of deeper layers to it, not so simple. But the idea is that Shabar Mantras were given to Gauri, and it was so destined that a sage called Machindranath, who was in the womb of a fish, he listened to these mantras because they were sitting by the river or lake or whatever it was. So he listened to those mantras and he started teaching them to the world as the Nath Sampradaya, as the lineage of the Naths. Many of us don't know, we are ignorant about our own culture, So the Nath Sampradaya came into practice and they used the Shabar Mantras. Now, if you see a lot of books written by big PhD scholars about Nath Sampradaya, they don't mention Shabar Mantras. So this is the thing, this kind of knowledge which is very important, it somehow gets obscured. So Shabar Mantras don't have requirements of Shauchi, Shushi, there is no Kilana. They are Swayam Siddha, that is, they are activated by itself. They don't need any kind of restrictions of diet, restrictions of cleanliness, restriction of timing, nothing like that. So you sit, you light a agarbatti, whatever, and you can just start doing it. There are no such big rules about it. And that is what is the requirement of the Kali Yuga. That people need sadhanas which they can do easily, So Shabar Mantras are available for our growth, and then there is a misconception that Shabar Mantras are, like supposed to be short term and they are used only for magic tricks. No, this is not true, because the rishis, the Naths, who are the Naths, the Nath mystics, they were very high level mystics. They were the creators of Hatha Yoga also. Hatha Yoga, they had created. And that's where Swatmananda comes from, that lineage. He wrote the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and Gorakh Shatabdi and many other things are there. So, this is what we need to understand. So, Shabar Mantra is very simple and they are not in Sanskrit language. They are in Hindi, they are in dialects of Hindi, they are in many other local languages also. So, they can be easily, used by the common folk, by the common people in villages and things like that. They can just use it. You don't need to be educated to say those mantras. And they bring the bhava of bhakti, especially towards the, Shaivite, Shiva side of deities, like Shiva, like Hanuman, then, of course, Devi, then the Nath Gurus, and so on. And very interestingly, I was hearing from a lineage master, and he said that Shabar Mantras are used for invoking the deities, for connecting the deities with the deities, even though they use other tantric mantras, etc., etc. They use Shabar Mantras in many traditions, not just the Naths. And it is made for everyone. So this is the divine knowledge, this is the sharing which I've received from a very amazing Nath yogi, a Nath himself, called Mr. Hariji. And I hope it helps you to understand what kind of mantras you have to do in the Kali Yuga. The second category is Nama Japa. So Nama Japa is very small names of God like Namah Shivaya, then Hari Om, and very simple. They are very simple. You can go on chanting them throughout your day. No restrictions at all about chanting them. And many sages, many saints, mystics like Kabir, they attained a lot through Nama Japa. Yeah, so Nama Japa is there. Then you can make it more effective, Nama Japa, when you do it on the breath, and essentially it then goes into the boundaries of Kriya, and Kriya is recommended during the Dwapar Yoga, right? So all these people who are doing meditation and all that, that is Satya Yoga things. You start with the mantras. Mantras is sound. From sound came life. The Bible says, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. So in the Kali Yuga, this is the recommendation of our mystics. And you have to see what fits for you, of course. But try to understand these things. It won't come from books. It won't come from Google, because that is very superficial knowledge. The real mystics who are sitting and sharing this, you have to go to them. You can't just, read from certain sources here and there. Usually books are written by scholars. They are not written by mystics who have practiced it. And the scholars also think that these are some kind of fantasies, that they don't actually respect that Vidya, many of them. So we have to be able to differentiate and understand, who is writing in what spirit. So there's a lot of things to this. So let's not get into a debate over it, but I hope this sharing helps. Cheers.